And welcome back, everybody. Of
Hey.
course, my name is Meelz. I'm here with Big Gucci Bafif.
Oh, I totally missed that. I was just like staring at the screen.
It's okay. And
I was watching the mic bubble.
and, and I'm also here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
What's up, man? What's up?
We're here, obviously. I feel like this is the epilogue of sorts because we did what we set out to do during the initial purpose of this season, or these series of episodes, which was to get the 8 badges of Kanto.
Yep.
And maybe our journey ends here, and maybe we don't want to go to Johto, or we don't want to go to Hoenn, or we don't want to go to Unova. We sure as hell don't want to go to the what's that region? The Sun and Moon one?
Alolan?
Alolan? Yeah, we're not doing
Yeah, we definitely not going to Alolan, guys.
Fake Hawaii.
Yeah.
Unless, unless restrictions are a little bit less, are a little bit lighter there. I don't know. It seems like everyone's having a good time on Alolan. Maybe that's the place to go. With that said, we are here to talk about the Pokemon League, gentlemen. We are here to talk about after the 8 badges, what goes on, how do we feel, where's everything going, is Lance an asshole or not, is Blue an asshole or not. We're here to talk about everything of the sort. The Pokemon League, honestly, first question for you guys.
Yeah.
When I say Pokemon League, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is the actual journey to get there in the game. I think because I was one of those guys that played the Pokemon League over and over again, like to try to make sure I got to level 100. Like that was like my thing. But the Pokemon that you could get on the way to the actual league was always like mind blowing to me.
It was weird to be able to catch Pokemon that good in the wild.
Yeah. That was always like super, super cool to me. But besides that, like the actual league itself, I mean, I did it so many times back then. Like it was, I probably played the Pokemon League more than, beating the actual story, truly. Because, that was like the best way to get to level 100 if you were like really trying to push everything to the, those limits without rare candies. You know what I'm saying?
And there wasn't really, other than Mewtwo, there wasn't really an end game in the first games.
Exactly. So like this was like the main thing you could do over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, at least in the leagues now, especially considering it's really still kind of one of the only ways to get to level 100, they should continue to raise the level as you continue to battle it after a while. Like maybe after 25 battles, make it like an option of like...
We're getting into like difficulties though, then. That's why I was like, we still need that, but
It is, when I first think the Pokemon League, obviously Victory Road is definitely a thing. First of all, the funniest thing before you get into Victory Road is when you enter that building and they're like, do you have the Boulder Badge? You have the Boulder Badge? Come on through. Do you have the Cascade Badge? That's it right there. Come on through.
Yeah.
And you do that 8 times?
They spent a ton of the budget on this pathway.
Why can't you look at all of them at once, right?
Honestly, the first time I ever played the game, I felt totally bamboozled that there was like basically another dungeon after. I was like, oh, I'm on Victory Road right now. I just got congratulated 8 times. This must be Victory Road. And then they're like, no, here's probably the hardest dungeon in the game so far.
It is. It's the shittiest dungeon to go through for sure.
But you could have never, like, if you had 7 badges, it's not like you're going to pop up there and be like, oh, fuck, it told me to turn around.
Right. I don't have all
Back to Viridian City.
You can't even go in without having them all, So it's like, why are you checking one by one? I got them.
I guess it's part of the whole, like, the journey, the 8 badges, let's see the pageantry of it all, I guess. Then
we also have to remember they had no idea what they were doing in the 90s, or that, like, this was going to be what it was.
Right. And then you had to obviously Victory Road, which is I mean, you guys talked about it, Pokemon that you couldn't get, trainers that were actually of like reputable levels and difficulty.
Like level 45 primates, son.
Yeah. But and it's also like they're all like either ace trainers or cool trainers or whatever the fuck they were called back then. And they had like it was striking because it was like, okay, we're not all carrying, like, I'm not carrying Zubat and then 2 evolutions of Zubat. Like, I'm not carrying that. Like, we're carrying Gold. I might have a Golbat, Clefable, Primeape, and an Onyx coming your way, and that's going to be my team. And I was like, oh, okay, so I kind of have to become a little bit more versatile. And
I'm fighting trainers like me.
Exactly.
Who have like just, you know,
random stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And got great items and shit, like, you know, max revives, all this other stuff. It was really just like, okay.
I still get mad when somebody uses like a high powered item. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm supposed to be winning right now.
Yeah, this is a hyper potion. It's like, oh, relax. Okay, all right, relax. You have 3 Pokemon. Relax. But with that said, after Victory Road, I think do you battle your rival in Victory Road? Maybe that's just Silver. Maybe that's Gold Silver I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not that I remember.
You definitely fight him do you fight him before, don't you? Like when you're going to turn in the badges.
Yeah, but you can do that early though, can't you? Like, you can do that early in the game. Because if you don't face Blue, like at that moment where you can go up where you catch like Spearows and Nidorans.
Yeah.
I think he does still spawn, even if you go through all the badges, and he'll spawn.
He shows up. Yeah, he shows up. He shows up on your way to Victory Road. No, on your way to the entry to Victory Road at the Pokemon League reception gate.
So yeah, that's right.
Oh my god, yeah.
What did he have? I don't remember.
He had
because I mean, you got to play him again, obviously, you know.
Yeah, in like 15 minutes. No,
about an hour or 2 later. Yeah.
Let's see, what has he got here? So he has most of the things that he's supposed to have. He has the Pidgeot, he has Alakazam, Rhyhorn, Growlithe, a level 45 Growlithe. Wow, he was really
before he made sure he was actually playing by the rules.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever that means.
He wanted to make sure that Growlithe had flamethrower before he gave him that Firestone.
You're right. You're totally fucking right. So with that, you faced him before, and then you get into the Elite Four, and the hardest thing for me was like, I just remember getting in there, and it's like, and it's like, I can't go back.
Can't leave. yeah. Like mistakes were made if you didn't load up on proper revives and hyper potions and whatnot. There's a good chance you really did struggle. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, I really, still to this day, I don't consider it like an easy thing.
No, I mean, it's probably the hardest one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's you spend all that time getting all this money. You got to have the right number of full restores, the right number of revives, the right number. It's like a ratio of revives to like full restores. It was like, okay, well, I got to evolve all these.
You really might not be prepared for the typing of the Elite Four members either.
Straight up. Yeah.
So Elite Four, of course, they come in. It is a...
God, I remember that shit.
It
was yesterday.
Sorry. Can we talk about Moltres real quick?
Sure.
No, that's real. Yeah.
It was just like there. I would say maybe Zapdos is the easiest to like get to. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
I think so.
It's right outside the thing. It's
The power plant is like super simple.
Yeah. It's just like seems weird because it's the first place you go where you're like, oh, there's like technically no point to being here really. But Articuno I think seems hardest because it's like 10 levels underground.
Yeah.
But Moltres and Articuno are both like intimidatingly hard to find, I would say.
Yeah, I think my anxiety went up trying to find like, okay, I'm really going to commit to the battle of these legendary birds. Like you kind of felt like the aura of like, I'm going to get these things. And it's like, it's before you go into Mewtwo, because there's a level of anxiety of that, because Mewtwo is like the end all be all, that, you know, the A-list, the number one. If those two weren't on the front of the game, I'm sure this guy would be. So there's a level of like, fuck, he's finally there. And then the music cuts in and they do the, you know, the little swirling black thing, like,
right. That music hit.
And then you hit the music, it pops up and you're like, fuck, how am I supposed to beat this shit? And eventually, hopefully, after wasting a ton of money throwing Ultra Balls at it, you eventually get it. I mean,
I feel like in these old games, it was way easier to go through like 100 balls, like in a painfully short period of time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Did anybody else hold the A and B button together, thinking that was?
I was at down B.
Down B? Yeah, I know everybody had. Yeah, see, it's like none of those things are actually like truthful, but
I'll still do it. I'll still do it today.
Yeah, it's a habit. It's a habit.
No, so here's the thing. Even in like Pokemon Go, my friend, he throws a Pokeball and then he taps the screen right after.
Man, that's a thing.
But he still like he throws it. But it's like a thing from like games and stuff like that. Like it's a habit. Like it's obviously like something that you just generally believe. That was like, oh, people telling you, oh, it's going to make a Master Ball. It's going to turn into a Master Ball in the middle of the air. And I'm just like, yeah, sure. I mean, what's the use? And if it didn't, it was like, well, I did it wrong, and I hit it. I didn't hit it right in the middle of the air.
It was like, oh, it increases your chances. It doesn't guarantee it. So it's like, if you still don't get it, it's like, oh, okay.
I
guess. Yeah.
All right. So, did you guys, as we're going into the Pokemon League, have you guys ever felt like your team was not prepared for this at any point? Like, did you have like 5 or like 4? Did you feel like you had all scrubs? Is there still a Pidgey in your damn party?
Nah. I never. I mean, I always felt like I was prepared. It was just, but I definitely lost. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't lose or black out a few times. Like that, it happened. You know what I'm saying? But I thought I was like up to par as far as like levels and stuff. Maybe my very first time getting there, I mean, I could have potentially been under level, but I really can't recall. I wish I could tell you like my exact team at that time.
Me too.
I just really can't, But I know
EV Evolution. I know I had an EV Evolution. I know I had a starter. I know I probably had Pidgeot.
Only thing I remember is obviously, my Blastoise and my Magmar. But I couldn't tell you anything else, dude. I really couldn't.
I know that I had Blastoise because when the only thing I remember is beating Blue with Blastoise using Struggle.
Yeah.
Which was great because I was like, oh no, what is that?
You're all out.
What does that mean? But I know that I didn't like, it wasn't like a one take. I didn't walk in, beat everybody, and then beat Blue with Struggle. Yeah. But I don't remember who I had a particularly hard time with, but I know that I did. I think the Gyarados probably were pretty tough, and Lance in general, I think, was probably, if I had to guess who I was losing to, it was him.
Yeah, Lance was a bit of a prick with those 2 Dragonairs. But
let's get through the Elite Four themselves, because once you hit the doors, and it's like it's a wrap. The first one, who I've never said her name out loud until this moment.
I think it's Lorelei, isn't it?
Yeah, Lorelei. Yeah, Lorelei. So I've never said her name out loud until this moment.
I like Lorelei's team. She got a dope ass team.
She is ice, but I think the thing with like most of these teams, the thing with most of these teams, if not all of these teams, were they had typings. Obviously, there was a dominant typing, but also the game was still sparse enough where there were only like 3 of them.
One of my issues were like she had like 2, like she had some dual. Everybody was a dual type in her team, but like she had a Jinx and a Slowbro, right? But like, which are both psychic, but neither of them had psychic moves. Well, I think Slowbro may have had something, but it wasn't like it may have been like amnesia. Okay, yeah, there you go. It had amnesia. You know what I'm saying?
At the list right now,
right? So no psychic or anything like that. Like it's not like with the dual typing of the Slowbro. Like it would have been nice if they really hit us with something like that, because I would have been like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do with psychic right now, or like whatever else, confusion even at that point.
Right. I think it was there to trip you up for like, oh, in case you bring fire types, but like you would not bring a fire type because most of these things are also dual water. So it's like you would get wrecked.
You know what was up.
Anyway, Lorelei, I mean, I think the general gist was like thunderbolted to death or thunder to death, like everything except maybe Jinx. Maybe Jinx could survive stuff. But that was the kind of thing. And then, but these were also like the first real trainers to kind of like start using hyper potions and full restores, like
rest.
God. Oh my God. Amnesia, withdrawal. Oh, I mean, all these things. Supersonic, which was annoying. It's kind
Jinx double slap definitely fucked me up at some point.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Nonetheless, I mean, she's the first one. She's not too bad. I wouldn't say too bad, just considering it's like mostly water. You can kind of thunderbolt your way through it and kind of figure it out. You can maybe even like kind of strong arm most things, just avoid getting confused. And I would say the following one is Bruno, who may have been even easier than
yeah.
No, I felt like he
pulled up with 2 onyxes. I mean, what? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, of course, man. It's like that's going to be handled at that point. Right. Like, I think both of them had like the same everything. Like, as a matter of fact, one of them may have been a higher level, which was even more like strange.
So, their Onyx, Bruno's Onyx, both of them same moves, different levels. Had Rock Throw, Rage, Slam, and Harden. And I'm just like, bruh, Surf. That's all I need.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Surf.
Of course, we all had Surf at that point on somebody. So
yeah.
Right. So at that point, I mean, you had Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, which is like a given for those that are fighting type kind of like mascots at that point. And then Machamp, who's someone new that you realize that, first of all, Machamp in this generation looks scary as hell. Oh my God, his face.
Yeah, he's a little weird.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Did you guys get hit with Fisher at any point?
No.
I had to have at some point, just because I know I did this like dozens and dozens of times.
I feel like I hadn't. But then again, it's also like, I'm trying to figure out now I look at it and I'm like, well, this is the hard part about this. But I guess it was the level part, like the leveling part. Because if I showed up with the Pidgeot, I should be able to beat the shit out of this. But
I mean, submission wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
And Fisher was, you know.
But when it uses focus energy, then it's kind of like, well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, you know, Bruno, I'm still going to put Bruno in the, like, the easiest one category, because he's kind of, you have two Onyxes? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's the clear weakest of these.
The third one, if you manage to get through that and just kind of like healed everything up real quickly, Agatha.
Oh, yeah, Agatha was a pain in the ass, dude.
I always felt like...
Oh, my God, bro. Listen, because Hypnosis was different then, bro.
Yeah,
it was different. It hit better. And they would do Confuse Ray, put you to sleep, and you wake up, and you'd still like, what is this? Like Dream Eater?
Yeah.
3 of them had Dream Eater, which was really good.
She had the nerve. She had the nerve to pull up with Golbat with Confuse Ray and Supersonic. Like, why do you need both?
Itself looks terrifying in this generation. Oh my God, look at it, tongue out.
It was all status, bro. All status. Sleep, poison. The Arbok had glare. I think Toxic was in there. I mean, it was like.
This was one of these moves in the first generation where I was like, "What is this? What's happening?"
Yeah, and of course, I didn't have a Gengar at that point because, you know, obviously the whole trading thing. Yeah, so seeing Gengar was kind of scary.
Yeah. You gotta find a friend.
Also, Agatha, I think that was the first level 60 Pokemon I saw was that Gengar.
It has to be.
Yeah. No, Agatha is quite tough. Just from a status point of you just being confused or asleep or confused.
She's probably one of the most memorable ever members of the Elite Four, I would actually say.
I always feel like I get jealous now. I don't know if it's jealous. I kind of respect more now that they've kind of decided to incorporate the Elite Four in a couple games moving further on throughout the story. Because I do feel like you kind of get to these trainers and they're just kind of like trainers that exist. They don't have any like ties to
like backstory.
They kind of dive into like the governing body of the world.
Yeah, it's like the Elite Four. It was like, are you always going to be third for the rest of your life? Like,
it's like they just been sitting in there waiting.
Yeah,
you know.
Even though it was a little
terrible,
it was a minute before they got it right. I would say Meaning, like, even in like the Johto League is cool because they, like Koga's there, Bruno's there, and then Lance has also shown up and apparently beat everyone's ass in like this new part of the world.
Yeah.
But it's and like Bruno, they must have they got a good trade for him because I don't know why he's like now the third member. But it's all, the continuation of him being in there and Koga being in there, like, oh, this is cool. But I would say it's like a few more games before they totally, the Elite Four actually makes sense.
Yeah, it's like you said, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I mean, not to mention, it is completely illegal to bring, two of the same Pokemon in any, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that type of matchup. Like, and we dealt with it damn near every one of them.
Yeah. Speaking of two of the same Pokemon, let's get to Lance. Lance, first of all,
welcome to Hyper Beam Town.
He would prove a lot more arduous in Gold and Silver. I mean, yes. The thing is, it's like he's way lower leveled in Gold and Silver, but still 3 Dragonites is like overkill. Like,
relax. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's some kind of shit.
Well, Dragonite was the one at that, there wasn't really any much better than Dragonite besides Mewtwo at that point in time. And let's not forget the impact of Hyper Beam. It's just like Hyper Beam was the move.
And he looked intimidating. Dragonite looked intimidating. Like, look at his sprite in Gen 1.
He wasn't cute. He wasn't cute at that point.
He looks mad. He was like, no, I'm coming to kill you. With that said, yes, there were only 3 dragon types in the game at this point, and one was Dratini, and one was Dragonair, and one was Dragonite. So there's not much to work with. So you just kind of had to get dragon-looking type of Pokemon. I don't know where Aerodactyl fits in all of this, but he proved to be he kind of threw everything off.
He did throw everything off. Yeah.
In the worst way. If you had a strategy going in between this one and the Johto League as well, like you had a strategy going in and it's like, oh, fuck, Aerodactyl.
I'm glad. I don't think Rockslide didn't exist. Did Rockslide exist?
No, Rockslide didn't exist in this gen.
It did.
No rock moves.
Good gosh, man. Yeah, it didn't have. I think it was all like normal or something like
Bite,
that.
Takedown, and Hyper Beam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Everyone had Hyper Beam.
Every single person had Hyper Beam.
Celadon City.
It did so much damage,
Yeah. You had to recharge.
This thing with Lance is a case of being better than it. Like earlier, we talked about having 2 Onyxes was stupid. Having 2 Dragonairs of the exact same level with the exact same moveset is actually intimidating.
It is. It is.
It's like you don't. There's not much that can beat dragons. You know what I'm saying? First of all, the Gyarados itself is just an incredible. Like intro to everything because it's like, if you don't have a electric type move, you're kind of screwed in a sense that you kind of just have to. Most times you're just beating it with like just force. You're just beating the shit.
I remember this Gyarados being so strong.
It reminded me of Cynthia's what's her first Pokemon? It's the thing with the key. Oh my god. Cynthia's first Pokemon
thing with the key.
It's a long story. Hold on. Why did I look up Cynthia on Wikipedia? Let's see. Spiritomb. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Spiritomb was just one of those like intro ones that had, first of all, it had no weaknesses, so you kind of just had to like really use brute force to kind of take it down. Right. That's kind of the same thing with this Gyarados. Like this Gyarados, unless you had an electric type move, you were kind of screwed. And
I also had one of the best move sets too. Like I'm looking at it now, like Hyper Beam, Dragon Rage, Hydro Pump, and a Leer. If you just want to they just want to fuck around with your defenses.
Yeah, definitely. But those two, after you get through that, then you have to go through Dragonairs. If you get through, I love the computer where it's like, if you get through the Dragonairs too quickly, then he calls in Dragonite real.
Yeah. He also is one of the ones that uses a potion too.
Yeah, for sure. He's like, oh, using ice beams now, Dragonite, and then he just kind of shows up. It's a tough way through. You're using a lot of full restores. You're using a lot of revives. The Elite Four is no joke in this game. The first time you go through it, I have all types of memories of losing a lot going through this, because if you're not as leveled as them, which is like, you might be the same level as like Lorelei. But then by the time you get to Lance, it's like, oh my god, now I'm like fucking 20 levels behind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because it's crazy that the let me see. Let me look at Lorelei's first Pokemon. So the disparity, okay, level 54. And then it's level 54, and then the final one is like level 56, but I don't even think I was 54 by the time I got there. There's no way.
Something hilarious is coming up also when we talk about post Lance.
Okay, well, let's get to post Lance, because we have Champion Blue, the champion of this league.
The champ.
Surprise.
Who you beat.
Who you just beat.
Got there.
Yeah.
And then he beat you to beating it by the time you get there. What an asshole.
I just have to say, while we're still remembering that Gyarados' moveset, I think the next Gyarados has, unless you picked Charmander, Blue is going to have a higher level Gyarados with the same moveset.
Yes, correct.
Either a 61 or a 63, depending on who you picked.
Same moveset though, like you said.
But I felt like he was like, I don't say he was like, I think he was like, he was easier because you had beat him like a million times before, and it's not like it's a grossly different set of Pokemon. It's kind of like the same type of Pokemon.
Yeah, the reason it's different is because like you're against the Elite Four, you're kind of assuming that you're only going to use one or two each of like, I'm only going to use one or two Pokemon per trainer because they all have the same typing. But then at the end, it's like, oh, but I hope you still diversified because it's a regular battle at the end.
Yeah.
Here's something I didn't know that is weird. Executor had 3 moves? What was he thinking?
Apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really strange. What the fuck?
I didn't know. I think this may be new for me.
Oh my god! I mean, what would he have? Any grass move would have worked.
I mean, any grass move would have worked. Any grass move. I mean, Solar Beam, Razor Leaf, anything. I mean,
Leech Seed.
Yeah, something of the rather. Nonetheless.
While we have it, it sounds like we're all looking at it. The teams are all different based on who you picked.
Yeah,
a little bit. It looks like they all have Rhyhorn, Pidgeot, and Alakazam.
Correct.
Yeah.
And those are the only 3 consistents. I can't really tell which one is the hardest, but I think it's probably, I don't know. They're pretty well diversified, I'd say.
That's what I'm most upset about. I literally just tried to give him credit for having a level 45 Growlithe, and he brings his Arcanine with Ember. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there.
I don't know. Yeah. It was kind of
Arcanine kept Ember.
So now I'm looking at the starters and seeing if that has any kind of weight to which one of these were actually hardest. And I don't know.
Probably Bulbasaur, maybe?
Yeah, I think just because of the Gyarados and the Charizard.
Yeah, that's a mess.
And the Charizard, yeah.
The Gyarados, I mean, if Lance's was hard at 58 and this one has the same moveset at 63, like that's like significantly stronger.
Yeah. Especially if you had just spent like, you had like sacrificed, if you're fighting Lance and like you don't have a Thunder type, you definitely like sacrificed a Pokemon to die so you can have someone come in. Like so now it's like, fuck, I gotta do this shit again. And it's like his 5th one. Oh my god.
These sprites bring back so many good memories, man. I'm sorry. It's they're just so cool.
Listen, the extremely fat Rhydon is
even Pidgeot, like I love the way the old Pidgeot looked. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, no.
Executor looks like he's tripping so hard.
He's like, why is my head so big?
Don't worry. Someday you'll be as tall as a skyscraper, my friend.
Yeah, you get your day. You get this day.
You'll get as high as a skyscraper. With that said, I mean, that's kind of the journey through the Elite Four. You kind of get through it. You get through it. Professor Oak meets you at the end. Yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. My son Gary had to learn a lesson. And or my grandson Blue. It's like you just lumped him. And Blue's like,
He deserved
Grandpa,
that.
don't you congratulate me for being champion? I was like, no, you little asshole.
You've been champion for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you did. I came in here. He'll say something like, "I was on the way to congratulate you, but I see that you've been defeated."
It's like, goddamn, it's like, it's so foul, dude.
By my other surrogate grandson.
Because you didn't learn to love your Pokemon and all this other stuff like that. And it's like, oh man,
They really try to make him out to be like a really spiteful 11-year-old.
Yeah. But he was a good trainer.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why the anime version is like way superior.
Absolutely.
Oh my god! But they do the same thing in the anime, which is crazy. Like
but they make it so he's like, he is cocky as hell and like a total prick, but he doesn't like hate. He doesn't. It's not because he hates Pokemon. In the game, it's like he's a careless Pokemon trainer, but in the anime, he's just an asshole, but an amazing trainer.
Let's see. All right, let's get into the anime part. We can kind of scroll through. So there's a lot of episodes with this entire the Indigo League conference thing. We're gonna try to like summarize it to best of our knowledge, to kind of like the journey of Ash and everything that kind of orbits around it. not the shenanigans, not the Team Rocket thing.
Right.
We'll definitely get into Ritchie and how I hate him so damn much. But Ash finally, okay, he got 8 badges like months ago, apparently, or however time works in this damn show. He got his 8 badges. Now he's able to finally go to the Indigo Plateau where all the trainers are going to line up. Gary's there. That's pretty much all he knows.
Yeah.
There's no one else on the journey is end up there, which is kind of like why I like the leagues a little bit later on. I like the leagues better a little bit later on, because everyone that you kind of encounter on your way there kind of ends up at the league, whether they were good or not. But it isn't like full of people that who you'll never see again. But the rules for this league are as follows. Win all 4 leagues on various fields, and you'll be entered into the actual tournament. So the preliminaries is you have to win all 4 battles on all 4 fields. That means you have to have a 100% win rate. You cannot lose. You have to win everything, and then you end up in the final 16. From 256, that narrows 256 down to 16 somehow. Let's see. I mean, we can talk about it as a general whole kind of thing. Favorite moments, if you guys remember anything. I remember this being a specific moment that I remember watching this on TV, because this was the point where you finally reach like the league in a sense. Like we thought it may be Elite Four eventually, but this was like the most like, oh, he's finally like going to the league. I need to watch this every Saturday, every morning. And ultimately, I think it ended up being disappointing, insanely disappointing.
It was.
It definitely was. I appreciated that they were like that basically acknowledging that like the video game version of the story makes absolutely no sense. That like they've set up this a chain of gyms on the continent for one person to challenge this elite group of trainers. So it obviously makes much more sense that like it's a yearly competition or whatever. But what actually happens
for the show, like it's much more entertaining as a show than actually like going through Victory Road and pretending that's going to be
and like makes any sense really. So it would have been cool maybe to see some version of what we saw that ends up with Ash losing in the Elite Four. I mean, I feel like the natural conclusion of the story is, Ash and Gary somehow facing off after the Elite Four, which clearly the show like never really went at.
That's because they didn't want a conclusion.
I get it, but I feel like that's such a huge moment that people desire for it.
They could just as easily have done that and then gone and done what they did afterward anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there was no reason it couldn't have happened.
Oh god, the Orange Islands. Fun fact: I learned that the country of Finland never got the Orange Islands. They went straight from the end of this league into Johto, and never got the Orange.
That's like never seeing the Trunks episodes.
Yeah, basically.
That's like not seeing the Garlic Jr.
I guess that's fair.
That's true.
Oh my god.
Shout out Kingler real quick though.
It was funny that like, first off, more just classic Ash stupid guy stuff throughout this episode. Like, he doesn't know about typing advantages again.
No.
He doesn't think about switching a Pokemon on a PC, which
Misty is still like trying to push like borrow some of my water types. And this is not how this works.
Weird. And anyway, it is good to see King like crushing it. It's so funny that like out of nowhere, this random Kingler is like just dominating everyone.
Dude, his Kingler was OP, bro. I can never forget the crab hammer, that vice grip.
Yeah,
I learned a completely different move upon evolving. It started off with a very calm moveset of like Leer and like Stomp and like something, and then it evolved and it's like Bubble, Hyper Beam, Vice Grip, Crab Hammer, and I'm just like, holy fucking fuck.
Watching it, like I really the sheer size of King. I mean, this guy is a absolute unit.
Dekitor in the head.
Yeah, he's a unit, bro. Like he's huge. It's kind of scary, actually.
And I'll say this: the Seadra looked cool. I was like, oh, Seadra. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Probably, pretty overlooked in terms of a Pokemon. But like, I was like, oh, Seadra. But
he literally doesn't know so many Pokemon. It's like, Seadra, what's that? Like, don't you fucking
What the
know?
hell did you?
How do you not?
What did you just send?
There's not that many. The 150 isn't that many.
It's Kingler from the manga. He just looks so terrifying. Yeah. Like he just looks absolutely, and that like it's like that's why I'm always like, yo, check out the manga if you guys can, because they just do a good job illustrating.
That looks.
Take a look at this.
Yeah, it doesn't look. I mean, it looks like Kingler, but it almost looks like fan art of Kingler.
Yeah, that's a real shot.
Like a crab.
That's a real shot, dude.
It looks like a damn crab, like a legitimate.
And that's a shot from the league, the Indigo League tournament, in the manga.
Oh my god! Wow. Well, listen, Ash has to win all 4, so he pretty much sweeps the first one. Shout out to him for that. The second one he kind of wins off screen because it's like, okay, we still got to do other stuff. The third
Thanks
one,
for not showing us.
Yeah, he kind of wins like, oh, Squirtle beats whoever the hell is last. Like, oh yeah, totally. With a Skull Bash. I was like, what the fuck? And then the third round, he's on ice. It's where he battles that Arcanine, which I thought was like a cool type of thing. It was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. The whole ice thing and using the Arcanine, Fire Blast, melts all the ice. Your Arcanine should have died, but
Definitely.
In Lavender Town,
as you always say, as the great saying of the anime goes, water always conducts electricity.
Right.
And that is how Pikachu ended up beating an Arcanine. Now, this fourth battle on the grass with Janine Fisher. They made sure to give her a last name.
Janine Fisher.
Janine Fisher. Must have been a writer's actual name or something along those lines. Janine Fisher. My favorite battle. One of my favorite battles of the anime. For no particular reason. Other than it took a Pokemon, for instance, and gave them a special kind of moment that they rarely ever do. And they had Ash. I mean, it was Ash. He was on the grass field. He was like, oh, grass field. Got to bring out grass types. I was like, well, wouldn't you? Grass types are coming, so you would bring out fire or a flying or something. But he was like, no, grass types. He brings out Bulbasaur against the Beedrill. Has a great battle. Twin Needle. Bulbasaur's dodging it. Bulbasaur ends up winning. Scyther, kind of the same thing. He one-hit KO Scyther after Scyther was whooping that ass. I don't know how. With a Vine Whip, nonetheless.
Makes no sense.
And then they bring out this Bellsprout. Oh, Bellsprout. The writers were on something that day where they decided that this Bellsprout needed to almost bring him back from a 3-1 deficit. Like, this Bellsprout is the most amazing thing, is the most original kind of thing that they've done, I think, maybe ever in the anime. So with that said, we'll be back. Because that Bellsprout absolutely whoops the ass of Bulbasaur. First of all, it knows Judo, which is crazy. It's like
knows Judo.
I can like picture it right now.
I love Bellsprout and the evolutionary line. I think it's super underrated. I think I mentioned this before, like Weeping Bell, Victory Bell, like they're really cool Pokemon to me. They're goofy, but like I thought they always worked.
Yeah, I liked them. I like the color of them.
Yeah, great scheme. Yeah.
Let's see, lemon lime type of deal. Anyway, then kind of Bellsprout goes up against Pikachu, and Pikachu is like, I've also got to fight. But then Bellsprout kind of like brain chops it with its legs, like gives it CTE, and it's out. and then Ash decides, I'm pulling out a weird one. Muck. First time I've seen Muck.
Muck time.
In a battle. Muck, who absolutely smothers it in a very disgusting, kind of creepy, kind of probably not PG kind
seemed illegal. Yeah, it seemed illegal.
Yeah. Be honest. He just kind of like the Bellsprout is trying to kick its way and punch its way through, and it's just like it's trying to use Razor Leaf. It gets caught in like Muck's titties or whatever the hell it is. And
oh god,
Muck just overpowers Bellsprout and wins the entire thing, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. Meanwhile, while all this has happened, Gary loses. He doesn't win all four things, which is kind of like the worst shit ever.
Yeah, they really botched that. They botched that.
They definitely like, did you see it? The only way you kind of know is like Brock. They show Gary losing, but then Brock speaks to Professor Oak, who's walking up with Delilah Ketchum, and the relationship between Ash's mom and Professor Oak needs to be spoken about.
All right, man. I don't want to take it there today, man. I feel like he was. I feel like I don't know, man.
They're always around. Like I know they live in the same town, but
I know
Ubers, something like you just happen to be. Maybe she's using him. Maybe she's using him. Maybe.
I don't know,
maybe
bro.
It's not what we think. Maybe
something ain't right, man.
Because of the amount of money and like, no, that's too deep. The access. No, that's a.
I don't know, bro. It's a weird relationship. I agree.
It's a weird relationship. They're far too friendly. Like he's an Oak. Like he has his own granddaughter and actual son, and alleged son and alleged mother, who we never see. We never see Gary's actual parents in the show.
I thought Brock was going to start hitting on Ash's mom.
I think Brock he had they drew a line, man. They drew a line. The line was drawn, man.
Brock is a fiend in these episodes. This Jenny has a short skirt. This Jenny has a bathing. This Jenny's hair gets cut on Tuesdays.
He never went after Misty.
But it's also like, wait a minute. First of all, why are if all the Jennies are here, who's protecting the towns? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are they all at the Pokemon League at the same time? That's crazy. But you know what? Fast forwarding through a lot of things, Ash wins all four battles in all four fields. He qualifies for the actual tournament itself, but he meets someone who he has a lot in common with. Dare I say too much in common with?
Too much.
I am so conflicted on this storyline.
Ritchie with a T.
Ritchie with a T.
That's the first red flag.
Yeah, 100%. You're weird. You are weird.
No offense to all Ritchies with T's, but you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. There's no need for the T. It's without the T, it's still Ritchie. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Ritchie comes in. I don't like his style. I'll say that off rip. I don't like his energy. It's too Ash-esque. Everything is Ash-esque. They even do the little stare down, and it's like this hat, gloves, pants, belt.
Okay. So in defense of elements of this, and ultimately I don't like it, and I always complain about how, like, I'm so sick of superhero movies now, but I always complain now about how the villain is always like just a kind of different version of the main character. Like, basically, like,
yes.
You guys know what I mean.
Of course.
Like in Iron Man, the guy's always just like, he steals an Iron Man suit and makes it kind of evil. Like, it's totally different. I don't give a shit. And so ultimately that he faces off against Ritchie, basically himself, I don't like. Although I am generally a fan of like doppelgangers in fiction, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I kind of like that he's involved before the battle, but I don't really like that the entire thing is like, oh, it's literally him facing himself. It's boring.
It is boring. And Pikachu has like, he got a cut, man. You got like a different haircut. And it's so strange, man. Have you guys seen the Mystery in History?
The Mystery in History.
Yeah, where Ritchie with the T and Ash, they like hang out with this baby Lugia.
No.
You guys need to see it. Like literally, like this Lugia has like a child.
Oh, yes. Wow.
Yeah, it's
in this little profile thing. There's
it's like a baby. Like it's weird. They like go swimming with this literally toddler Lugia.
That's not supposed to happen. All right.
No.
Game Genie. But with that said, let's see. First of all, Ritchie, his team. I mean, talk about facing himself. He has a Pikachu named Sparky.
Thumbs down. Aggressive thumbs down for Sparky. Get the fuck out of here.
Are you guys fans of naming your Pokemon?
No, I hated it. Actually, I just was never into it personally. I think he nicknamed every single one of his.
He nicknamed all of them. So his Charmeleon was named Zippo.
Oh God, what a
terrible. I don't know. It's nicknaming Pokemon makes them seem less dignified to me. I don't know why. I've never done it. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I could imagine doing it for specific Pokemon as like aggressive inside jokes or something. But as a general principle, if you weren't able to do it in the games, I wouldn't care at all.
His Butterfree was named Happy.
Okay,
I think that's all you need to say. And then, I mean, you see him later on. I'm gonna call out the rest of this Pokemon.
You might as well, yeah.
It's an abomination. Later on, you see him. He shows up in Johto.
What do you have?
He had a Pupitar.
A Pupitar named Cruz. What does that even mean?
And then apparently he shows up in a Hoenn thing, and he has a Talo named Rose. And I'm just like, bro, are you the most basic ass?
What is he thinking, dude?
That I've met in my life. You first of all, Sparky. Sparky.
Zippo. My Charmeleon's name is Zippo.
That's actually kind of inappropriate for kids because that's my Charmeleon is named after a lighter company.
I know. Damn, Pat, I didn't even think about that, dude.
Don't ask him how. Double entendre.
How does he know?
Oh my God. With that said, I mean, Ash and Ritchie, they meet by chance and then go on various adventures and saving Pokemon together for at least one episode, and then are pitted against each other and wondering, like, oh my God, first round? Like, as if they were like two elite guys. They're like, as if they messed up like the standings or the what was it? The seeds. The seeds were fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like, Ritchie versus Ash in the same battle. First, all right. So fast forward, Ash almost doesn't make the battle because of, once again, Team Rocket hijinks.
All the Team Rocket stuff in these episodes, I'm glad we haven't mentioned it because it's like the most derivative of like all their other schemes. Yes. It's so familiar territory. It's not even really worth mentioning.
Yeah, they're news reporters. They're also selling stuff. They're also doing various things. I mean, they're slapstick joke villains. But eventually he makes it to the thing, and then I was like, albeit after like using all of his Pokemon to make it back, and it's just like, oh, all my Pokemon are kind of weak now. The battle is just stupid. I dislike this battle so much. I dislike everything about it. I dislike how they ended it. The fact that he sends out Charizard because it's kind of his last resort, but Charizard still doesn't listen. So he kind of like loses by like, I don't know. It's just, there's so much different things. And I'm just like, I was just disappointed. I remember even being disappointed as a child. I just remember like, then my guess was like, okay, we got this battle. We're heading to Johto, right? Like we got to be going to Johto now.
You think?
And then Orange Islands, GS Ball, Tracy, seashells as gym badges, and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? This is where the show fell off.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Totally.
It just is. It just is what it is, and that's just kind of what it is. Ash finishes in the top 16, as if that means anything. But he finishes in the top 16 of the Indigo Plateau Conference. The winners end up being like 3 random silhouettes, not actual people.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah, one kind of looks like Brock. The other kind of looks like a shorter, maybe looks like Gon from Hunter x Hunter. If you make it out. And then one kind of looks like some other lady. So, or, just to fill out the bunch. So, yeah, I mean, we're all winners here except Ash, who is a loser and who would continue to lose for the better part of 20 years until he won. So, that's all that we have got to say on this episode. I mean, we've gone through. Do you guys want to? All right, so here's what we can do. Obviously, elephant in the room. Isle of Armor.
Yeah, Isle of Armor. Yeah.
We don't have much time left. Do you guys want to quickly go through it, or are you guys down to do something else later on?
All I really have to say about it personally is Slowbro looks awesome. I love bringing back the legendary birds, and I hope it's way longer than me and Meelz anticipate.
You guys think it's going to be pretty short content?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's my fear. I wouldn't even say that's my fear, is that everyone beats it in 8 hours.
Yeah. What about now? Do you think the Crown Tundra will be longer?
It appears that I feel like it may be more of like a massive thing.
Like that's an expansion, and this is like hey, please give us a little more time for the real thing.
Yeah, like an update per se. I mean, I don't know. I want, like Meelz, we were texting about it the other day a little bit. I hope there's more, Galarian forms. But I don't know if they're going to just wait for, like you said, a Crown Tundra.
So here's the thing with the trailer. With the trailer that we saw, it debuted last week. The trailer, I'm assuming, this is just my prediction, I'm assuming that trailer is actually old.
Yeah.
That this is my conspiracy, is that trailer is old. It was supposed to be released however long time ago, just never got released until now. Because they don't talk about Zaramuda or that evil monkey shit that's going to show up and murder everyone. We never actually got to talk about it, but the evil grass monkey that's going to murder everyone. They don't talk about it in the trailer.
They probably had this thing ready for a while, but they just decided to hold it because of Corona and everything else going on. I could definitely see that.
So I'm thinking they're still holding on to things. I'm hoping. The worst thing I can do is hope, because hope leads to disappointment.
Yeah.
Almost every time with Pokemon. Hence a large amount of people who complain about the national decks, and then it's like, actually,
not saying it won't be good. It just may be short or underwhelming.
Yeah, DLC. I mean, if Sun and Moon's DLC was Rocket Rainbow thing, which it kind of was, but it was like DLC, but like you paid for it to play the whole game over and then do Rainbow Rocket. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Pat, what did you think of the trailer?
It's fine. I mean, I'm not as enthused about this as I was at the time. I think because I do also have the same, I hadn't really articulated it before now, even to myself necessarily, but I do think that the Crown Tundra is going to be a lot bigger than this one. I mean, even just based on the name, one is an island and one is like, they just sound different.
yeah, I know. One sounds more massive for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about it. It's new Pokemon, and like rating is gonna make me, want to catch them. So I will be playing it. Obviously, I don't know for how long I'll be playing it, but
I want that Slowbro.
I have to take a brief diversion here. I'm on Polygon and looking up the Sword and Shield stuff. And the most read story is hackers say classic Pokemon games spawn fewer monsters on tragic anniversaries, meaning that spawn rates are decreased by 10% on Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and September 11th.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And on holidays, it looks like this is getting Gen 4 and earlier. On holidays, most government recognized holidays, catch rates are increased by 5 to 10%.
Wow, I had no idea. That is completely new to me, dog.
It's so weird.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's completely new to me, dog. Like, I had no idea.
Look at this. I'm just skimming it right now. So,
Well, yeah, I guess as soon as they, put in the calendars and a clock, that's probably when,
what the fuck?
Well, shit, that's good to know. I could have been cheating. I could have been moving my my clock.
it's so funny that someone who's like
Yes.
13 years old has like no idea what 9/11 is, and they just want to catch a Pikachu so bad. And they're like, not today. Never forget.
Not gonna spawn.
Not gonna spawn everything. Wow, that's crazy, huh?
So weird.
Listen, mine this game for us, please. I mean, I don't know how you mine a DLC. I guess once it comes out, it's going to be data mined forever.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So,
It'll probably be data mined in the next 10 days or so.
Yeah, for sure.
Which will show everything that we need to know if there are more Pokemon coming out, which I'm sure there will be.
I'm gonna look up some leaks, man. I'm gonna see what I can find for you guys, man. I'm starting Pokemon Blue on my DS today, on my 3DS. So from the virtual store, I kind of just want to run through it again. So,
all right, I respect it. Listen, I mean, it comes out. I mean, the DLC drops. I think it's June 17th or June
17th.
Yeah, 17.
June
Is that
17th.
2 weeks from when we're recording this, basically?
Yes. So I want to say, I feel like we should. I don't even know if we should do something fun. Yeah, I guess once we get around it, just stay tuned. The Lookout RNC on Twitter. Stay tuned. We might have some fun stuff as we come across it. Also, that week we'll be dropping the new Pokemon Journeys anime, so you can kind of binge it on Netflix if you're into that kind of thing.
I'm gonna watch it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just sitting in the house, but I'm planning on checking it out, and I haven't checked out the anime basically since the episodes we are currently. Oh no, that's not true. I remember my pal Tracy.
Young Tracy, huh?
What was Tracy? Tracy Sketchit. That's his name. Don't wear it out. With that said, I mean, we'll be here. You can always contact us and you can always hit us up. New Sword and Shield news, new Sword and Shield leaks. Hopefully more stuff comes out. Hopefully everyone gets their evil dark monkey. Hopefully it becomes part of the game. I would be interested in that becomes part of the game. It's either evil dark monkey or psychic elk, like a psychic flying elk or something, or whatever that deer thing is. Thank you guys for tuning in for us for this entire season. I'm sure once this thing comes out and we finish it 24 hours later, we'll have an update. 24 hours after that. If we are able to finish it, and we'll talk about the game. But until then, thank you guys for tuning in to these set of episodes of the season. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.